What's going on, folks? Oh, I do not like how not centered that is. That's gonna bother me. Don't do it. Reconsider. It's not even the right one. There we go. Not even the right one. Oh, I still don't like that one either, though. Gross. Hey, Ryan. You guys hear me all right? Yes. Let's see. Check, 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 check. Yep. Microphone's coming out everywhere. Hey, everyone. What's going on, Corey? Hey, Dory. Wimbro. How y'all doing? Oh, I just washed my hands. I got like water for my watch. Thank you, Wimbrel. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Feels nice to be noticed, you know? Tony Ogden, how y'all doing? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been a long day of it's been a long couple days with more to come on Supreme Court decisions. So the big one's tomorrow. The real big one. I mean, they're all big, but the real big one's tomorrow. We'll see. Hello. Yeah, the real big one's tomorrow. But yeah, anyways, I'm saving all that up together. I'm actually getting a bunch of information on it. And actually right now I was actually just talking about how I'm gonna do on the podcast this week, we're gonna do like a full speed run. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna speed run Supreme Court cases on the podcast. I'm gonna see if I can do 12 because there was 4 on Friday, 4 today, and then 4 tomorrow. So what we're gonna attempt to do is run through all 12 Supreme Court decisions in under 10 minutes on the podcast. That's the goal. So should be fun. That's my goal. So there won't be an interview this week. It doesn't look like on the podcast just because there's a lot of news and all sorts of stuff this week. But we'll resume interviews the next week. So yeah, should be a good time. Did I drop in? Did my gift gallery drop? Is that what happened? I think my gift gallery dropped. Oh, thanks, Ryan. Yeah, the podcast has been going really well. People have been what the heck is my account? Yeah, the podcast numbers for this week's episode looked a lot better. Muzz King, thank you so much for lighting up the roses and the fingers. I appreciate that. C3? I must have dropped or something. That's okay. We're still going to try to clear it. You need to... Yeah, so there's a lot of Supreme Court decisions. The ones today were mostly bad for Trump. One good one for him, but mostly bad. So misbehaving. Thank you so much for lighting up the match times over there. Yeah, three bad for Trump, one good for Trump. Of course, he got like kind of the opposite on Friday, so I guess we'll see about tomorrow. Yeah, about them holding off birthright citizenship. I'm kind of like that could go either way. It could be they're holding off because uh they're holding off because they don't want to piss off Trump with their decision, or they're holding off because they don't want to piss off us in their decision. I don't know. I don't know. Who knows with this fucking court? Even seeing some of the decisions, and you're like that shouldn't have been that close. What was it? The mail-in ballots was like 5-4. It's like that shouldn't have been that close. Like not even a little bit. That shouldn't have been close. That should have been fucking 8-1. Okay? That should have been 8-1 or at least 7-2. You can pretty much count on like Alito and Thomas not to use their own actual brains for anything. So, they are the human embodiment of fucking the reason for Supreme Court term limits. Like at least like Kavanaugh and like all, like those cats, like they will switch every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? Like every once in a while. I see stars here, boys. I went and saw him a couple months ago, actually. Yeah, at least Kavanaugh and like Amy, like Coney Barrett, and like all of them, they'll move around. You know what I'm saying? But Alito and Thomas, man, they're just pieces of shit. Yeah, and they're weird. They're creepy and they're weird too. And I bet you they smell funny. Like I'd put money on it. Like I oh shoot. Sorry. Yeah, like I guarantee if they weren't Supreme Court justices, they would not be allowed within like 500 feet of a school. Like I bet. They're fucking creepy, dude. It's weird. I mean, I know that's why they hang out with Trump, because Trump's also a fucking creep. But have I ever seen in my life a Supreme Court more corrupt? No, I haven't. And more importantly, one that just disregards precedent and the Constitution. Right? Sorry, that's not even like it's not even a disregard for precedent in the Constitution. It's knowing that it doesn't have precedent or or part of the Constitution, and then purposefully trying to reset precedent. You know, like they know what should happen, and they're purposefully going out of their way to make sure that all things that are like good and and like right are just like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Yeah, it's real. It's real. How can we get rid of Supreme Court justice? You really can't. That's the problem. You really can't. It was definitely a misdesign of many misdesigns in our in the creating of this country. Yeah. The problem, their only legal recourse to do would be to impeach them, but yeah, they can be impeached, but it's not going to happen, right? It would be who's going to do it? Who's going to impeach them? The Democrats aren't going to impeach Alito or Clarence Thomas. They're not going to do it. That's why it won't ever happen. The Republicans aren't going to do it because they vote along with their lines, and the Democrats aren't going to do it because if the Democrats impeached Alito, then Donald Trump would be able to put in a literal fetus. He'd find the most white nationalist, Christian nationalist, fucking 18-year-old that he could get on the bench, and that person would be making decisions for my grandkids. So Democrats aren't going to do that. Nor nor should they, right? nor should they. Yeah. They'll probably clone Stephen Miller and fucking just like isn't Stephen Miller's wife pregnant? I think Stephen Miller's wife is pregnant. That will be the new Supreme Court justice. That'll be the new Supreme Court justice. She just had the baby. Congratulations. That's who's taking Alito's spot. So, anyways, y'all, welcome on in. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that like button if you haven't already. I appreciate you guys. I'm on a little different live goal. I want to see if we can get 50 members on YouTube today. Between people that become members or gifted memberships. If we get to that today, I'm going to gift out another 10 memberships. And that's what we're going to do. If we can get to that, then I'm going to gift out 10 more memberships over on YouTube. So, if you'd like to help support the live, become a member, gift memberships. You can do that from my main page. Go to my main page, right where you clicked subscribe. You can click join, or if you've already joined, you can click gift and do all that stuff. So I really appreciate y'all if you guys like support. And I'll gift out 10 more at the end. But there's also all the other ways to support if you guys would like to. From clearing out my live gift goal, working on the gift gallery, which we're starting over this week. Pay links in the bio and super chats. We got 2 days left in the month, so we're gonna try to fire through this thing. We're gonna try to fire through this thing. Hell yeah. Hells yeah. Hello, how are you?
We are Charlie Kirk. I don't know the song. God dang it.
So you spent all that time in my chat just to try to sing a song you didn't know?
Honestly, to be honest with you, bro, I'm at work right now, and I'm just bored.
Oh.
I'm being dead ass.
Sounds like you're working real hard.
I definitely am.
Oh.
Oh, bye.
Woo! All right. Looks like the brain cells are working great on these guys. Just like Charlie Kirk said about these lazy young white men. Anyways. Remember when Charlie Kirk was talking about all that stuff? About how, you know, about all this horrible stuff. So oh, you're right. The YouTube link probably doesn't work in my link tree anymore because I changed my at. I forgot about that. I could actually fix that real quick. Anyways, yeah, so we'll see what's going on with the Supreme Court rulings. We'll see what goes on with the Supreme Court rulings that come out tomorrow. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't have a lot of optimism with this court. And neither should you ever. Because they're horrible people. So they might overturn the Constitution tomorrow. They might just overturn the whole thing. Who knows? They might just say no more Constitution ever. The Constitution is what Donald Trump says the Constitution is, and nothing else. Yeah, that's what they're going to rule tomorrow. They're going to rule tomorrow that what? How am I getting restricted on TikTok for bullying when I haven't talked to anybody to bully? Y'all, can we make sure we get sound off in the chat, help gift, all that sort of stuff in my TikTok chat? Because they're trying to take me down over there. I don't know why. Super crazy. But yeah, I don't even know how it's possible. I haven't even done anything yet. It's crazy all the times that I've bullied people on this app and then like nothing happens, but when I'm just like hanging out, it loses its entire mind. Apparently it's bullying to say anything bad about Trump on the new TikTok. I bullied the Charlie Kirk singer. I mean, if you want to call that singing, I guess. If you want to call that singing. Oh my goodness. Yeah. That he was bullying me for me having to hear it. That's what was actually happening. He was bullying me for having to hear his voice. I should be able to sue him for having to hear that. Anyways, if you still support Trump or you're still a Republican, you can call in on the number that's above my head. Or just join the guest request box if you're over on TikTok. I am definitely getting a live visibility restriction. That is definitely sure. That is definitely true. But yeah, no, we'll see tomorrow. The Supreme Court, I don't know. I had a feeling that there was going to be some good rulings this week. Also, can y'all tap that screen? There's like 10,000 likes on this thing. I don't know what you guys are doing. We're trying to fight through a restriction over here. But yeah, anyways. So yeah, I was expecting some good rulings. I figured that's why they gave him a couple wins. Then I figured that's why they gave him a couple wins. That's why they gave him what he gave him before. That's what I figured. If TikTok stays low, consider a restart. Whenever I restart, none of y'all come back. Like literally the last like 10 times I've tried to do a restart, I came back to lower numbers. than I was even when I was restricted. Nobody comes back. It just dies. Anyways, yeah, no, I figured because of the they kind of gave him a few things last week on Friday, and so I figured that today was going to be a pretty good day. I guess I'm not really surprised by really any of the rulings, really. To be completely honest with you, I guess I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'm not really surprised by any of the rulings. I was surprised on how close the one for Lisa Cook was, though. I was surprised at how close the one for Lisa Cook was. Just because it was like, really, like you're that many of y'all are gonna vote that the Fed shouldn't be independent. Like that's just so nuts to me. Like that's such an obvious fucking win. Like that's just like such an obvious thing that you want. Do you want the Fed to act on the president's orders, or do you want the Fed to just be on the behalf of the American people? All right, I guess I'll restart over on TikTok. I don't think it'll work, but that's fine. Yeah, do you want to act on behest of the American people, or do you want the Fed to act on the behest of whatever the president wants? Kind of crazy. But are they shadow banning me? I've been down for months. I don't know what happened. Just one day it just turned off the key. It turned off the key for me. It turned off the key for Ari. It just kind of died out. So I don't know. I've had this happen before, but usually it pops back on by now, and it just hasn't. It's just still dead. So, that's okay. It's all good. I'm still here. I'm still here. Well, I'm trying to be here. No, it's all like political left-wing content. Like it's very obvious that they're trying to suppress left-wing content. Even like really really big ones are having like down times right now. Like really really low ones. So, it's okay. Again, the right can't win, so they just try to censor. That's all that people like Trump and the right know how to do. They can't win, so they just censor. It's okay. It's fine. We'll still be here. We'll still be here. I'm not too worried about it. We'll still try to be here. Yeah, I don't know why they did it for. I said they did it for everybody. Yeah, it's a bunch of this fucking. It's literally what they're doing. So I truthfully think that just like the debate space is low because the only MAGAs that still exist are just like the bottom of the barrel, dumbest motherfuckers you'd ever see in your entire life. Like I literally used to like really enjoy like debating MAGA because like there was some intelligent people. There's people that had lots of like complexity of thought, like all of that stuff. And now it's just mouth breathers, bro. You can see them in the chat. They're just like they don't call in. They don't actually want to have conversation. They just freaking keyboard warrior mouth breathe, bro. That's all they are. That's all they got. Not judging people at all. Of course I'm judging people. Why would I not be judging people? Yeah, I judge all of you. I judge every single one of you. Yeah. I judge every single one of you. There isn't a single one of y'all I don't judge. Oh my god. That's the best part about like deconstructing and stuff like that. Is that once you deconstruct, you're just like, oh yeah, like everybody's already judging people anyway. It's just the only difference is that now I can be open about it while y'all still act like you're not. Diss Tim Pool. Somebody left a comment on my podcast saying that I need to go on a on Tim Pool show on my last episode. And I was like, I'll go on a show. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. Doesn't matter to me at all. Yeah. Doesn't bother me at all. Plus, they already proved that like the algorithms like that, they're freaking more favorable towards not brown people, by the way. That happened a long time ago. They figured that out a long time ago. If you're brown or you're a woman, you are like less likely to get the same numbers as white men if you're on social media. So, because algorithms are racist. That is true. Yep, algorithms are racist. So, what are you going to do? You can't worry about it, right? Have I ever considered dating people in real life? Ain't nobody going to debate me in real life. They won't even debate me on the phone. Like, you got guys like this Wes Jones guy who won't even call in and talk to me. You think he's going to come up on the street and talk to me? He's just crying in my chat and he doesn't even know, okay, which version of freaking your to use. What am I going to argue with these guys that have a freaking like second grade reading level? Like oh yeah, I'll get right on that. Yeah, I'll get right on that. Anyways, if you still support Trump, see all these guys. Sean, you wouldn't make a debating in real time. You wouldn't, but yet there's no one calling in. See, they all want to act so hard with their little keyboards, man. Did you guys just get out of your fucking rally? Is that what it is? Is your clan rally over for the day? And you guys all just decided to come whine to me? Is that what happened? I didn't know they let the clan rally out early on Mondays. I didn't know they let the I didn't know they let it out early on Mondays just to have a nice cry session. Man, y'all are a bunch of bitches, bro. Anyways, I don't know why MAGA like men are so soft. That's my big question. That's what I should have up here. Instead of why do you support Trump, it should say why are MAGA men Charmin ultra soft. That's what it should say above my head. Why are MAGA men so Charmin ultra soft? Why are they so far into their emotions every single time if they talk to me? All right. Why do they so closely resemble the toilet paper bears? All right. That's what I should put up there. All right. Why do MAGA have such bad daddy issues? Why are they always talking about wieners? These are all good questions. These are all important questions, the questions that we need the people to answer. Okay? Why are they all in love with me? That's a great question. Why do they all come up here wanting to talk about gay stuff with me? I don't know. I don't know. These are the questions we really need MAGA to answer. These are the real questions that we need to get to. Okay? Yeah, we the people demand answers. All right. We the people demand answers. This is what should I change? I can add it on here. Why are MAGA men obsessed with wieners? Think I can put that on the banner? What are you what are you saying? They like black wieners only? They like mine only. I don't know. They always come up here and want to talk to me about genitalia consistently. That's all they want to do. Okay? It's super strange. It's super weird. And it's real gay. I know it's Pride Month and everything, but it is really gay. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah. Is it something to do with? You said something to do with their mamas or lack of mamas? Maybe something to do with their lack of mamas. Y'all, if y'all would like to support the live, please consider it. I still am trying to make it through this month. Like I told you, we'd be speed running this month. So if you like sport, I do have super chats, pay links in the bio. They're all at Polypolitics. And we're trying to get through some hat mustaches, clear out some gift gallery stuff. So if you like support, I really appreciate you guys. Really go a lot. If we can hit some members today, I'm going to gift some memberships, but on YouTube. So if you like support with some gifted memberships or being a member yourself, we're going to be hacking down on a little number over there. And if we can get to that, I'm going to gift a bunch of memberships out to people tonight. So that's also really helpful. So I appreciate y'all on all of that. But yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why. I really think that's what happened. I really think the algorithm started skewing when people started realizing that the only people that I talk to like don't have any knowledge of anything going on. I think that may be when it really started.
It's insane.
Yeah, they can't defend him anymore, so they just go, I don't like people at women's sports. That's all they do. That's all they have anymore. That's all they have. Did y'all hear about the Venezuelans that all died? The fucking 100 Venezuelans that we just deported there. Like we just deported them, put them in a hotel, and the hotel collapsed through that earthquake. Yeah, you guys didn't see that? I can pull it up. Barry, you were gifted a membership? When? Nobody's gifted memberships today. We haven't even gotten a one. I gotta remember who was doing it. Who reported on it. but I did see it. Let's see. Anyways, I'll find it in a sec. But yeah, like 100 of them died in like a hotel. So there's some more blood on Donald Trump's hands, as if he doesn't already have enough. Yeah. He can just add that to his he can just add that to his collection of bodies that he's gotten. So yeah, horrible stuff. Horrible stuff. Yeah. So that earthquake really did mess up a lot of people. It was really bad. Well, those multiple earthquakes. Yeah, those multiple earthquakes did mess those guys up bad. It's a shame. It's a shame. I'm pretty sure there was children in that. I'd be damned if there wasn't children in there. Let's see. Yeah, everybody's reporting on it now. Yeah, just unreal. But you know, Donald Trump doesn't care, so why would he care? Why would he care if people died, right? Yep. 7 children on the flight, too. 7 children. Luca, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. I really, really appreciate that. Luca, thank you so much for the 20. Luca says the stream is great, but I'd argue your podcast is the best political content on YouTube. Wow, that is actually very sweet. I actually really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Luca. Can we get W's in the chat for Luca saying my podcast is the best political content on YouTube? And not only on YouTube, across all of the of Spotify and Apple and everywhere else. So I really appreciate that. That is very sweet. And if y'all haven't gone and listened to it, then y'all don't even know what Luca's talking about. So you're killing it over there, right? Kilo, thank you so much for the 10. Said in my best medieval voice. Here, I'll try to do a medieval voice over here. Said, from henceforth he that BSeth in ye chat is a bot until proven otherwise by calling in. That's the best one I got. Henceforth and forever. Henceforth and forever. Thank you so much, Kilo. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right. Let's see if we have some callers going on over here. Really appreciate the super chat and the cash over on Venmo. That's very, very nice of you. I appreciate that. And we're going to see about this. Also, like I said, still looking for some members over here so I can gift out some memberships too. So appreciate y'all. Hello, how are you?
Hello?
Hi, how old are you?
Hello?
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
A little bit, yeah.
All right. Why is that?
I don't know. I just feel like he really handles global issues correctly.
Which one?
I'd say the Iran expedition.
Expedition? That's a weird name for a word. For war? How is he handling that well?
Well, I feel like it's more of a try to stop terrorism.
And how's he doing that?
Well, he started off, what was it, last June with the airstrikes on the nuclear bases, and then
Awesome.
he continued.
How does airstrikes on nuclear bases stop terrorism?
Because if a terrorist focused religion and country were to get nuclear warfare or nuclear substances on their hand, then I feel like America would feel the wrath of it.
Gotcha. So what you're saying is terrorists that aren't in Iran because they're funding terrorists that are outside of Iran got their hold of
Yeah, like
nuclear
sleeper
weapons
cells. Yeah,
that got their hands on nuclear weapons that didn't exist and they weren't trying to make them, then that would be bad. I mean I agree, but that's not how Iran is funding terrorism, so
but we don't really know how they're funding terrorism because
yes
they're
we
not
do.
going to publicly kind of announce that.
Do you think we only know things that they publicly announce?
No, I'm sure the government withholds stuff.
No, not a matter of withholding stuff. We have intelligence agencies and lots of reporting and tons and decades of information about how they fund terrorism. Yeah.
So would you say that decades and decades we've understood that Iran has terrorist groups in America, like sleeper cells?
Hmm. Yep.
So then why do you think that Iran, I guess in your words, war was destructive and
Not my words.
didn't
Donald
really work
Trump's
out?
war. Donald Trump's word. He said it's a war. He said it multiple times. He said it dozens of times that it's a war. He actually specifically got on stage and said, "It's a war. I have to call it an excursion," which is not even the word he's meaning to use because he doesn't know words. I have to call it an excursion. That way, I don't get in trouble with Congress, but it's a war. That's literally what he said.
But I think it's a very valid attack.
Okay, but you're talking about it funding terrorism. Okay, Iran can still fund terrorists with or without nuclear facilities. Their nuclear facilities don't prohibit them in any way, shape, and form from funding terrorists. It's not
But
stopping them from
yeah,
funding
of course.
Hamas. It's not stopping them from funding Hezbollah or any PLO, any other of the multitudes of terrorist organizations that they fund. Right? It's not stopping any of that. So how is bombing a nuclear facility stopping them from funding all these terrorist groups that are threats to the region of the United States?
It's not so much about completely putting a halt to terrorism. I think it's putting a halt to the ramping up of it.
How? How
Because if
you're
you
saying two things, but you're not connecting them for me, okay? How do nuclear facilities, okay, that are underground in Iran that according to our own national intelligence, they weren't trying to build nuclear weapons with, that they did not have weapons grade uranium, enrichment, right? That they did not have
yeah,
delivery systems for, right? How does taking those out stop Iran from funding the multitude of terrorist groups in the region and around the world? That's what I'm asking.
I get that. Well, like you said, they weren't able to complete the uranium process because of, just the direct attacks. But I think it's a good prevention because they've been trying to get nuclear warfares for about years now, for
Incorrect.
years and years. They haven't. So
No, that's not what I said
I've
either.
I've
They weren't
I've heard
trying to
own
because that was announced by the director of national intelligence 3 months before we bombed them that they did not have a nuclear weapon and they were not trying to make one
they weren't. So why did they have facilities for it?
because they are allowed to have nuclear material.
Yeah, of course. But they were. I mean, if you have nuclear material, one thing leads to another. I don't understand what you're saying here.
Just because you have
What
nuclear
what what
material
were the
doesn't mean
point?
that you're trying to build a nuclear weapon. There are so many countries across the planet that have nuclear material and aren't trying to build a nuclear weapon, right? Like the
Yeah,
majority of
I
them.
mean,
A
I know
lot more
nuclear
countries
energy is
have
a
nuclear
very powerful.
material and they're using it for other things than the ones that have nuclear weapons, right?
I'd say so. Yeah.
No, yeah, no, that's just a fact. There are more countries in the world that have nuclear material that don't have nuclear weapons and aren't trying to build one than there are countries that actually have nuclear weapons. So having a nuclear
Okay.
facility, right, does not mean that you're trying to build nuclear weapons.
Can you just give me one of those countries?
I believe Belgium has nuclear material, right? They use it for medical use and energy. I believe the Netherlands also has that. I think
Now,
most
what's the
European
difference
countries
between the
have it. I
Netherlands
believe
and
Japan
Iran?
also would be one of them. I could probably name quite a few, honestly.
What's the difference
Is
between
Australia a nuclear
Japan
country? I
and
don't remember if
Iran?
Australia is a nuclear country. They might be.
So you said Japan, right? And then we're talking about Iran. I'd say there's very big differences. One's in the Middle East, which we have a history with of not getting along in the U.S. And then you said Japan, which is one of our allies. So if one of our allies, who we probably already fund nuclear warheads to, why would we allow Iran to try to keep developing nuclear warheads? Like
I
you're
no,
talking
sir,
about like this
sir. They
nuclear
weren't
material.
trying to develop a nuclear warhead. That's what I'm saying. I agree also. I also do not want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Okay? I don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon at all. Zero. I think the current regime is horrible. They'd probably do horrible things with them. I do not want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. They weren't trying to make a nuclear weapon based off the head of the intelligence department, right? The all of the intelligence apparatus for the entire United States that was appointed by Trump said 3 months before we bombed them that they did not have a nuclear weapon and that they were not trying to make one, and the Ayatollah had not made any attempts to try to make a nuclear weapon. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I want them to have one. I don't. I think that's horrible. I don't think they should have one. I think I agree that's horrible, right? But they weren't trying to. And even more importantly, sir, what I'm saying is that even if they were, that doesn't directly correlate to the funding of terrorism. With or without those facilities, they can still fund terrorism. That's what I'm saying, sir.
Okay, I understand that.
Yeah, so I'm asking how Donald Trump's attacks have stopped the funding of terrorists, because I think that is much more of a direct threat, right? If we have a country that, according to our own intelligence apparatus, is saying that they're not trying to build nuclear weapons, right? Then I
Yes.
think that the threat of them funding terrorism is a much larger threat to the United States and to our allies. Just like you said about, oh, don't you agree that Iran probably has like sleeper cells and stuff in the United States? Yes, I do agree with that, which is why I think the funding of terrorism problem is a big problem. But you haven't addressed how any of this has fixed that. That's what I'm trying to ask you.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. But I just like I want to see like an article or the proof that like I'm not saying what you're saying is not true about the 3 months before the attack that they weren't trying to build a nuclear warhead. They just wanted nuclear energy because nuclear energy is a very powerful source of energy. I mean, we've
It's on
seen
my
that. We've
page.
seen
I
that
have the
not.
director of national intelligence saying it.
You said you have the
Yeah, I made a video about
quote
it when
or
it
the article.
happened.
I'll definitely have to look into that.
I can probably pull it
I'm
up real
not
quick.
discrediting, but I can't really continue to talk about it if I can't go look at the video myself and kind of continue to build an argument off of it.
Explain to me how we went from this in March of last year.
The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003.
To this, that was the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard,
Okay.
in March
That's a valid point
of
then.
last year. Yeah,
Okay,
but
that's a
again,
valid point then.
regardless, how is this attack stopping them from funding terrorism? Because last I checked with this last ceasefire MOU, we're becoming the apparatus for them to get $300 billion, right, in reconstruction,
Yeah.
which they've already come out and said that their equivalent of the Secretary of State has said that they will spend that money on whatever the hell they want, and the United States and nobody else is going to tell them how they spend it. There's another $100 billion, right, in release of assets, from locked assets from Iran. So there's $400 billion that we're giving them. Plus, we're releasing all the sanctions on them that is going to end up being, somewhere between 60 and $100 million a week that they're going to get indefinitely. Not to mention, in that MOU, it also talks about the ability for them, in partnership with Oman, to set a toll rate for ships going through the Strait of Hormuz. So with all of that money, don't you think that they might be able to use some of that money to fund terrorism?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, Donald Trump seems to be giving them all the money to be able to do it.
I'd say that's a dumb decision.
I agree with you. But this was the reason why we never should have gotten in this war to begin with, sir. Okay? Because there was no good outcome. All right? There was never a good outcome to what was going to happen. What they're now going to do is they're going to use that money to rebuild their military that we did a lot of damage to, which means they're going to have newer, better weapons, right? Donald Trump already said, "Hey, all the rest of the countries around them in the region all have missiles, so it's kind of hard to say Iran can't have missiles also." Cool. So Iran's going to be able to rebuild their missile inventory with newer, better missiles, right? They're going to be able to rebuild their defenses with newer, better defenses. And they're going to have a whole bunch of money left over to fund whoever they want with. And that's what we're getting out of a war that's costing us $1 billion+ a day to fight. That's what we got out of it.
Makes sense.
So I don't support that, right? I would rather we didn't go to war and then we had stayed in the JCPOA, the Obama nuclear deal, which kept them from having nuclear weapons, so it fixes both of our problems, right? And then we can try to contain Iran from there without going to war. But now not only are we not containing them, but they also get a whole bunch of money. So, yeah.
Well, I like to hear two sides to a story, and I'm respecting your point of view, and it's making sense to me as you describe it.
Yeah, that's cool, man. What else? Do you think he's handling any other foreign stuff better? Because this one's not going well.
I'm not like a super far MAGA, like dies for the world for it, but I just think that this topic's interesting to me, and that's just kind of all I wanted to chat to somebody about, other than someone who was uneducated and just kind of raises their voice to prove the point, like most people. So
Sure,
it was
man.
refreshing. It was definitely refreshing to talk about it, and I really appreciate your time.
All right, man. Well, you have a good one, all right?
You too.
All right, y'all. Make sure y'all hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you guys so much. If you'd like to support the live, I do have my live gift goal going on over here. And yeah, pay links in the bio, all at Polypolitics, and super chats and hat and mustaches would be really cool also. Seem to be having a little bit of a slow night tonight. That's okay. I don't mind a little bit of a slow night. I don't mind a little bit of a slow night as long as we can have some enjoyable talks and conversation and we can keep this thing going. So yeah, I really appreciate y'all. Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Hi, how old are you?
19.
Where you were born?
A long time ago. I'm not really want to give that stuff away. I mean, if you're asking, you should probably know.
Oh, well, if you're saying, you should also probably know. But bye now, okay?
All right, bye.
I'm 19. What year were you born? That's secret information, okay? That's secret information, and I can't just let that type of information just come out. You know? I can't just let that type of information just be like out there, you know? It's not like I didn't tell you I was 19, so you could easily calculate back and see what year I was born in. But I can't give you all of this very, very sensitive information, like what year I was born in. The fuck's he talking about? Yeah, like I asked for his fucking social security number or his blood type. The fuck are you talking about, dude? Hey, dude, what's can you give me your credit card number? Like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Yeah, he was 12. He was 12. Yeah, maybe he's a secret agent. Maybe he's a secret agent. Sean, thank you so much for the gifted membership. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. That was weird. That was super weird. But anyways, y'all, while I got y'all here and while we're waiting to see if any Trump supporters or MAGA are gonna call in, thank you so much for the hat and mustache. I appreciate that. For y'all who haven't listened to the podcast, which is still quite a few of you, you guys should go check it out. But we are looking, I will say, the numbers for this week's podcast are looking a lot better than the numbers from last week. So we're stepping up over here. Actually, the numbers are, except for on YouTube. For some reason, YouTube is lower than normal, but the rest of y'all over on like Apple and Spotify, y'all are doing all right. For y'all over on Apple and Spotify, y'all are doing all right. So, yeah, check it out. It's the Polypolitics podcast on all the platforms. And yeah, thank you guys so much for checking that out and for doing stuff. Like I was just telling somebody, we're gonna do a lot of talking this weekend and not a lot of interview, but that's okay. We're gonna still try to get some interviews in, and so I try to catch back up on that too. So that's really cool. I'm excited about that. I also just got hungry. I don't know why. I just ate. That's weird. Yeah, Sean, be nice to Polly in super chat. Yeah, be nice to Polly in super chat. So Polly can, keep this live going and the podcast going for another month. Yeah, be nice to Polly in super chat, y'all. Also, I've been releasing I've released a video like every day for the last week on YouTube. If you guys would like to watch those too, that really does go a long way. So I appreciate y'all. Hello, how are you?
Good. Hi, Polly. I'm a friendly. Sorry, I got an echo here. I just wanted to say your hair is on point today. Appreciate you.
Just
Looking
got it
good.
cut. Thank
Yeah,
you. I
you're gonna have a
appreciate it.
bromance if you're not careful here.
Bro,
No, I'm
you
just
interested?
kidding.
Is that what you're trying to do over here?
Yeah, I might have to go Tinder weekend MAGA on you. No,
Freaking
I'm just
crashing
kidding.
grinder on it. All right. You have a good one, man.
See you later.
The DNC is broke as fuck. Dude, I wish the DNC would sponsor me. If anybody has hookups with the DNC sponsoring me, that would make that would make my podcast a lot easier. Bro, we just getting freaking bromances in here, okay? We just getting some bromances in here.
Hey, how you doing?
They can't because they're too broke. That actually kind of checks. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing fine.
Awesome. You still support Trump?
Yeah, I do.
Awesome.
But
Why
I
is that?
want to talk about you. I want to talk about you real quick.
Why would you
You
want to
look,
talk about me? Is this live? See, is
you're
this?
glowing today.
Oh, dude, what is up with people
Yeah,
today,
man.
man?
I want to pound your cheeks out. Repeatedly slap you in the face with my cock. Give
Bro,
you a
I probably
concussion.
wouldn't even feel it.
That's 9 inches.
Yeah, right. That bro's like, it's 9 inches, dude. That's what he tells all the girls. you have to be able to swing it to slap someone with it, okay? Doesn't work if it's just a nub. Yeah, doesn't work if it's just a nub, little guy. You have to be able to swing it to do that. And yeah. Is that what it is? Maybe he does have a big one because all the blood's rushing to that instead of his brain. That's why it's not working too well. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. It's an extra belly button, yo. That's wild. 9 inches, my ass. Scott, thank you so much to the 2 Canadians. Says Trump more devilish with the blood on his hands. More blood on his hands. He just continues to have blood on his hands. But yeah, thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. Yeah. Why you gotta be out here lying, man? Why you gotta be out here lying? His voice didn't match his face. Extra belly button is wild. I saw someone write that in there. And it's not an Audi. Yeah. Extra belly button and it's not an Audi. Yeah, that's fucking wild, bro. I've never heard that before. I've never heard that before. That's a new one for me. Yeah, extra belly button and it's an innie. Oh, that's crazy. I don't know why I'm so thirsty today. I don't know why I'm so thirsty today. Yeah, exactly. I got a mangina with my downstairs mix up. I'm old Greg. I drink Bailey's from a shoe. Hydrate, I'm out. All right, bye. But I am gonna hydrate. I'm thirsty. I'm old Greg. All right, if there's any Trump supporters, join the guest request box or call in. Thank you, Scott, for the super chat. We're gonna see if we can. I don't know. We're hopefully getting some conversation today. This is slower than I hoped for, but that's all right. Jen, thanks for the 5. Says my milkshake is bringing all the boys to yard, and they're like, "It's better than yours." Damn right, it's better than yours. If you want it. Boys. They do tend to very, very much like me, don't they? They do tend to very, very much like me. It's very strange. It's very strange. I don't know. Did I just take too much of that? I did. Oops. Yeah, they do tend to they like me a lot. What side am I am? What's the topic? I'm not on the Trump side. Yeah, I'm just too damn pretty. Thank you so much, Jen. I'm just too damn pretty. I'm just too damn pretty. I can't help it. It's the haircut. I thought I got the haircut. I got a collared shirt on today. All right. I'm just simply irresistible. Simply irresistible. I don't know what is going on with the TikTok today. I got restricted like almost immediately, and now I'm like, the numbers are super tiny. I don't know what's going on over here. Hello, how are you?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, how old are you?
Huh?
How old are you?
18.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
No, I just wanted to call you.
For what?
Be on the show.
Just to be on the show?
Yeah, what's up?
You thought I was cute too, so you're like, fuck it.
What?
I don't know. I just seem to have a lot of guys calling me and tell me I'm cute today. So
Really?
yeah, just figured you were one of them.
No. Oh, that is funny though. I mean,
All right.
hey, if you insist. No,
Just a little lonely guy, huh?
I mean, I don't got anything better to do. Come on, son.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you go.
All right, I'm going to meditate and masturbate or something.
Probably to me. Probably to me. Yeah, this is like Love Island at this point. You're right. This is like Love is Blind, but I'm the only one that's blind. It's very strange. He was just like, I want to talk. I just want to be on the show. Just saw you, and I was like, I just want to hang out. Just thought I'd hang out a little bit. This isn't the Freedom Fair. If it was the Freedom Fair, no one would be here. I'm pretty sure, even with my low numbers right now, I'm pretty sure there's more people in my live right now than went to that Freedom Fair. I'm pretty sure. Fix the date in my title. Oh, I didn't schedule it today. Is that what's going on? Is that why everything's so slow today? Yeah. I didn't schedule my live today, so I didn't switch it. Oh my god, they're not even the same one. Sorry, I'm trying to fix this over here. I don't know what's going on. Everything froze. There we go. You think I'm on too early? No, I'm not on too early. 5 is totally fine. 6 is even better. I didn't realize that I had my dates wrong on here, which that might have been something wrong on my YouTube. But no, I can't. Shit, I was on it freaking, what was it, Friday? I was on like 2:30. It was like the best numbers I'd had yet. It's the best numbers I've had in like a week. Whenever I get a restriction early, it's pretty much screwed. Yeah, whenever I get a restriction early on TikTok, it's really screwed. Yeah, don't do that again. Would you have rather me not gone on live? Because that was the other option. Yeah, the option was I go in on at 2:30 or I didn't go on. So, well, you wouldn't have been able to watch if I didn't go on either. You wouldn't have been able to watch if I didn't go on either. That wouldn't make much sense. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I was calling in to tell you why I support Trump.
Why is that?
Why I voted for him last election. Oh, it was just too many. Wait, what happened to this?
Oh no, it sounds like you forgot how to talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, yep, done with that conversation. Anyways. Don't know what the hell that was. No, it wasn't the same. Well, I mean, if it was the same guy, they had a different phone number. So, yeah, if it was the same guy. Yep, not doing that. Mike, thank you for the jewels. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, my numbers have been low no matter what day I've got, what time I've gone. I've gone at 5, I've gone at 7, I've gone at all sorts of times. Just the numbers are really low for some reason. I don't know why. But today's especially low. Today's lower than it's been. I don't know what's going on over here. So, yeah. No, guys, I don't care that Dean is on. My numbers are not down when Dean is on. My numbers are just down when they're down. That's all it is. They're just down when they're down. It's not, my numbers do fine when Erica is on too. It's so funny. I've been doing this for like almost 3 years. And it's so funny all the people that tell me that my numbers are down because someone else is on. Dean has been on and I've had 2,000 people in my life. Like it's it does not matter. There are so many people to go around. Like so many people. It's either the algorithm pushes you out to people and you're shown or you're not. That's about it. Hello, how are you?
Hey, Polly. Yeah, I'm doing all right. My audio might not be too good. I'm kind of walking to the gym right now. So I just want to apologize.
No, if you're walking to the gym, you probably don't have too much time for conversation, huh?
No, and I just wanted to get your thoughts about, you were talking about the Venezuelan earthquake earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounds terrible, but maybe it's just the social pressures on me, living in such adversarial systems. But what is the principle that gets you to care?
A principle that gets
With
you to
everything
care
going
about
against me,
human life.
a little bit, because it's like me and mine have to come first to not be completely impoverished by 60, and it's a race till then.
You think that a
The
bunch
head
of
start.
Venezuelans dying helps you and yours?
No, but where do
What?
you find the energy to say this is so wrong and advocate for your beliefs and such?
It's really easy to be a decent human.
Mm,
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
it's not difficult at all. Yeah.
Mm, no, it
It
sounds
takes
so
like
simple.
almost zero energy too, which is pretty wild. Like, yeah, just to care about the like other people and have empathy.
Maybe I just need to get a platform to put my energy towards that, because once it boils inside of me, it just kind of seeps out and causes issues for me and mine, where I'm just like, oh, like Texas today is trying to get rid of, what they said? They said that the Bible is mandatory reading in public schools. And I'm just like, I was simmering over it, but it's just like, besides complaining to the people around me, we're just like, yep, where does it go? What good does it do?
What good does it do to be upset about the upheaval of the Constitution? It does a lot of good. Yeah. If you just sit there and you're compliant with it, that's how fascism wins. That's how Nazi Germany happens, when you just go, "Oh, what are you gonna do?" You know, when you just let freaking fascists or authoritarians or Christian nationalists, giant racists, if you just let them do shit, and then you're just like, "Oh, well, what are you gonna do?" When you have that attitude, that's what they want. That's how they succeed. Yeah, that's how they become
But then we
stronger.
got you remember the Facebook trials when they were just like, how does this even work? An 80-year-old man talking about this. That's the guy that we need the speed and alacrity to take care of these things, but we ain't getting that. And I'm just like, oh, it's all against us, you know?
I mean, yeah, it's against you, but that doesn't mean you just give up. Do you just give up every time something's like hard and against you?
No, you got to have that persistence of vision, but it's just like between having, one single job can't afford an apartment in any of 50 states, or, at least not a regular minimum wage job anyways. But so you got to just, they got you on the back foot from the get. And then you got to be also advocating for the lives of Venezuelans. Well, it's a lot. It is a lot.
I don't need
But
you to
more
go to
power to you,
Venezuela
man.
and
I'm
pull them out of the
about that.
rubble, dude. I just need you to hold people accountable.
And I want to, you keep it up, man.
All
I'll try to
right.
bring that
Thank
energy
you.
to it too.
Appreciate it.
You have a good one.
You too. I'm not asking you to go pull them out of the rubble, dude. Like, just care a little. I don't, I don't know. Anyways, y'all, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. You guys know all the way to the supports. Pay links are in the bio. Super chats are fun and helpful. I appreciate you guys. Hello, how are you?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm not a Trump supporter, but I'm a vet, and I know a lot about open source intelligence and military politics. If you want to have a little convo, I'm sure we could find something that we do disagree on. And usually, I find when it's two leftists arguing, we come to a point, like a conversation point that has a lot of nuance versus all this Trump stuff. So it's up to you if you want to move on to a Trumper, but.
I mean, I don't know if I want to find something that I disagree with you on, but if you want to talk a little bit about open source intelligence, I have no problem listening to that for a bit.
Well, yeah, just so everybody that's listening is aware, open source intelligence is just basically you're using tools that are available to the public to gain intelligence about any topic. So let's pretend you were trying to learn something about the conflict in the Strait of Hormuz. You would likely go to Iranian newspaper outlets and local TV outlets, and then use something like Google Translate to learn what was going on from their point of view. And then you would probably go to something like the Military Times, Army Times, Marine Times, which is kind of like a military newspaper for the United States military. And you'd kind of like look at what they're saying, and then you would want to maybe go look at Washington, D.C. news outlets and see what they're trying to sell lobbyists and politicians and everything like that. But that's what open source intelligence is. As far as how do I use it, I like to research geopolitics and military politics in my spare time, because there's a lot of rumors, wars and rumors of wars going on in this day and age. Not like there hasn't been all throughout history, but wow, is the rumors thing really hyping up nowadays, right? And so I don't want to steal his thunder or make myself look any kind of way or toot my own horn, but I like John Kiriakou, except I kind of focus more on the military side of things.
Yeah, so open source intelligence, for people that are kind of asking, like, is it just research? Kind of, yeah. Open source can be a lot of things, though. Especially, specifically, open source and the way that governments use it actually concentrates a lot more around like things like social media now. Crazy enough, they can actually pick
Yeah.
up so much stuff, and it's not like one singular thing. It's a large conglomeration of things, right? So, like the CIA or other intelligence agencies, they will gather, 1,000 different, like, Instagram posts from all in a certain region, and then they'll use little tiny clues from every single one of them, and then they'll start to gain intelligence from all of those things combined. It actually is really interesting and actually really important to how we actually gather intelligence as like a nation and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll see a lot of modern reporters. Well, I don't like the word modern nowadays because you got all these people like Peterson and stuff misusing it. But nowadays, reporters using tools that open source intelligence experts use all the time. Now, mind you, we don't have the type of data aggregation techniques and capability that these like Peter Thiels and CIAs have. But we do have things like 4chan and forums where multiple individuals come together, bring those data points individually or multiply, and then analysts, like individual analysts, would analyze that data themselves instead of using a computer. So a lot of times, I won't say most of the times, but a lot of times, when you're using humans in an internet forum method versus a computer to aggregate intelligence and ping you for red flags, you're going to have a lot more red flags. You're going to have more opportunities to gather intelligence versus when the computer is just telling you, hey, you should just look at this thing, which could just be just a normal occurrence, or could you just be focused on one thing? And this happened in the intelligence community post 9/11 a lot. They were hyper focused on Muslim terrorism, Muslim extremism, and they completely missed all the other forms of extremism that were going on. I don't know if anybody watches Kiriakou, but he talks about when he was stationed in Greece as a CIA officer, fighting against 14 November, I think they were called, and they were an extremist organization that were against capitalism, against the West, and all that. Now, I myself am a leftist, but they were killing civilians. So, like they were definitely a terrorist organization. But organizations like that have kind of fallen by the wayside and been able to develop and kind of do their own thing when people were looking the other way. Nowadays, it's kind of, refocusing with the advent of AI and everything. All these agencies are able to do more at once. So obviously with the current administration, they're going to be looking at things that are, more frivolous, like they're going to be looking at protesters and people who have work visas versus actual criminals. But the opportunity is there. It's often said that the intelligence community works at the behest of the president, but they don't necessarily work at the direct order all the time of the president. They just continue to work as long as the president deems it to be okay. But I feel like I'm losing myself in the weeds here, man.
Well, you lost all
Maybe
the
you guys
rest of
should
us
refocus.
too. I'm gonna move on to the next caller. I hope you have a good one. Okay.
All right, buddy. Have a good one. See you later.
too. Okay, that was. Anyways, for anybody who got confused, open source intelligence is actually a really, really important part of the intelligence apparatus. Just thought I'd let you guys know that it's actually very, very important. It's the way that this is like. There's this old story actually. Before I move on to the next person, which I guess isn't actually open source. I guess this wouldn't technically be open source because it wasn't completely open, but where they had to ban Fitbits on like a military base in the Middle East because these guys were wearing Fitbits to track their steps, and then they were running the circle of the base every day, and so they had to ban Fitbits because people were able to just go into their Fitbit accounts and figure out the shape of the base and like where everything is in order to there's stuff like that. There's a reason why like they tell like military members and stuff like don't post shit on like social media when you're about to deploy or whatever, because other countries will use all of that open source intelligence and then they'll figure out like things about troop deployments and shit like that. So yeah, anyways, open source is actually a very important thing. It's actually very crucial. Yeah, very important thing. Hello? All right, that sounds like it was an accident.
Oh, no.
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Cool. I just wanted to talk about what's your take on the situation in Iran, and I mean specifically, 'cause that's vast, but just specifically, my observation, living in the Iranian American community, even performing in an Iranian American rock band, that what I've experienced here is to a T. Every single one of my Iranian friends want to see the regime in Iran destroyed and feel Trump is not going far enough. Do you think a Democrat would have gone all the way?
No.
And wiped out that regime and liberated the people?
Nope.
You don't?
Nope. I don't think that at all.
What are your thoughts? I'd like to get your spin.
I my thoughts on what? On whether a Democrat would have done it? I don't think a Democrat would have done it at all. I mean, that's why would they? The United States doesn't have an appetite for a war that would be required in order to completely liberate Iran and completely destroy the regime. That would take years and years and years, trillions of dollars, and probably hundreds, if not thousands, of American lives. Right? That nobody has the appetite for that.
Yeah.
The difference is that Donald Trump thought he could accomplish it by a couple bombs and a couple $1 billion, tens of billions of dollars, but still, he thought he could accomplish it in a few days. And every Democrat would have been smart enough not to know that wasn't going to fucking work. Yeah, that's the only difference, right? Donald Trump's now negotiating with that same regime. He's freaking paying money to that exact same regime. They're going to use that money to do all the things they've been doing. The people in Iran are no better off because the same regime was in, and now they're bombed, and now they're less safe from Israeli attacks, from anybody else's attacks, where they're more likely to specifically attack civilians, right? So Iran is stronger. The Iranian regime is stronger. The people of Iran are weaker, and so are all of our allies in the region that did help to keep Iran in check. So no, this was not helpful at all.
I do think that their military was wiped out. Their capacity is hugely diminished. And I mean, even this is coming from people that are on the ground there through my network. They're happy. They want to see those buildings bombed. And it has hugely impacted them. What we haven't seen really happen there, though, is a strong enough populist armed movement to do it on the ground. And that's where we don't want to go in. We don't want to go in on the ground. But that should really be up to the people and mercenaries, and they could overthrow their government. And that's where it really needs to happen. We could support them in that, but we shouldn't be the ones doing it because it would be too costly.
Okay. Well,
However,
first of
they've
all,
been given a leg up. They have a good opportunity.
First of all, their military has been diminished, but their military was pretty diminished prior to the attack, and we're giving them $400 billion plus a weekly paycheck to rebuild it even better than it was before. So that doesn't have anything to do with it. Second of all, you want to talk about freaking a slaughter? Arm the civilians and militias and have them try to take over the government. That'll literally cause the destruction of Iran. If there's not hundreds of thousands of lives lost, there'll be millions of lives lost, which would be my guess. Okay. So, and I don't know why, if you're saying you're Iranian American, I don't know why you would want that level of death and destruction. Not to mention the fact that the civilians would most likely lose. So not only would they get slaughtered, they'd most likely lose. Yeah.
I think that's the hesitancy. But the key is, though, is how oppressive the regime is. And it's funny how we in the West just turn a blind eye to it. I mean, the form of Islam that they are living under.
No, it's not anything to do with Iran.
You know, for example, I'll give you an example.
Are we supposed to just go liberate every
he
repressive regime in the world?
About the sexual
No, hold on.
The way that they abuse boys. And
hold on. Do you not have ears? You're right. You're muted now. I'm not gonna sit here and let you listen to you grandstand.
It's there.
Nope, you're still muted.
Islam.
You're just gonna keep talking, but no one can hear you.
I see.
Sir, is it the job of the United States to liberate every single country that's oppressive?
Depending on what our interests are.
Sure, no, first of all, it's not our job, period. We put our interest in countries that we have interest in, right? That we have goals in, that we're trying to get oil out of, or X, Y, and Z, or blah, blah. But it is not the job of the US to be the liberator of every single country. Anything that you're going to say that is happening in Iran is also happening in places like North Korea. Hell, a lot of the stuff that you're talking about that's happening in Iran is happening in places like Hungary, where the vice president of the United States went to campaign for the person that's doing it. Donald Trump rolled out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin, who has been known to do pretty much all of those exact same things against Russian citizens. And Donald Trump not only brought him in, but literally rolled out the red carpet and waited for him like a little punk in front of his airplane, waiting him to get off. Okay, so I'm sorry that, like, you explained to me how bad the Iranian regime is, doesn't change anything. I understand that it's bad. I don't need all the details of all of it because I've read it all. Okay, and we definitely don't need to be talking about it on a social media platform with terms of service. Okay, but regardless of that, that does not mean that it is now the United States' responsibility to go in there and completely destroy that regime just because they don't have interest in mind. Just like I don't think it was necessarily our responsibility to go in and kidnap the leader of Venezuela. I think that we have been notoriously bad about getting ourselves involved with other countries that we shouldn't be getting ourselves involved in. And I'm not saying that we should be isolationist, right? I don't believe that we should just completely abandon anything that happens in the world for just strictly American interest. But I do think that American interest should be the priority, right? And the amount that it would cost to liberate Iran, the amount of American lives that it would cost to liberate Iran is just too high of a cost to possibly get it done. Because at the end of it, it's a possibility we don't even get it done, not without any coalition partners, and nobody else is going to attack with us.
Well, that's true. That's true. It would need a much bigger coalition by a long shot. But the key thing is I think they just need to be able to rise up internally. And so far, they've not been able to overcome the system that they're under. And, I have relatives that lived under communists and were Communist Party members. And what's interesting about that is everybody that's come from an oppressive country, a country that really boiled down to totalitarian. There's the two-class system in communism. Those in the party, my family members, those in the party get a privileged life versus the 99% of the population that they treat like dog shit. It's incredible.
Well, that's not communism. That is totalitarianism.
That's what communism turns into because it's
Incorrect.
No checks and balances.
That's
so you have sociopaths that rise to the leadership roles.
That's not necessarily true.
That's really the truth. Look at it. In every communist country, it's a sociopath. You've got Xi in China.
China's a capitalist country. They're not communist.
You've got Putin in Russia.
Putin
You've
is
got
Russia
no
is
China
also capitalist and an
is
oligarchy,
China is
and they're not
communist
communist.
with a small playground of capitalism.
No, they
Capitalism
are a
there is very
capitalist
limited.
country with
Just
freaking social safety nets. That's about it.
no, that's not true. They have
What part
a
of them is
direct agenda
communist?
to undermine and eradicate essentially individual rights.
Eradicate
They're all
individual
about
rights? What part of
controlling
communism is
everything you
eradicating
do.
individual rights? Where in any
Eradicate,
definition
of
of
course.
communism is the eradication of individual rights?
Once you give the state your control over your life, in other words, the state decides versus individual rights. Here in
What
the West,
part
we have
of
the concept of
communism, where in the
individual rights.
definition of communism is giving up individual rights?
Well, I'm just telling you that's how it gets implemented. I'm just
No, you're
looking
just
at it
you're
practically.
just
There's
explaining what
the loop.
totalitarianism is, and then you're saying this is what happens in communist states. You're describing totalitarianism and then saying this is what happens in communism. The giving up of
Well,
individual
this is
rights or
what
the
happened
taking
and what I
away of
experienced.
individual
I'm just
rights,
telling you what
the
I
taking
experienced. I'm
away
not
of
making
individual
anything up.
rights or the taking away of individual
Did you
rights
ever
is a
experience it or
core
anybody?
principle of totalitarianism and does not exist anywhere in
That's right.
communism.
Communism is a fake. It just allows a totalitarian hand to take
No, you
over.
just don't know what
Once you
communism
sign your
is.
rights over to the state,
No,
it becomes a two-class
you
society,
just don't know
and
what
that's
communism
practicality.
is, sir.
I'm telling you when it gets implemented
And I'm telling you, you
practically
don't know what
based on
communism is.
history. You know what? I think I know what communism is,
Well, I know
and
you
we don't
don't.
need to go over it on the phone. But here's
No,
the
we are
thing.
going to go
I
over because this is
understand what it is.
ridiculous, sir. Because this is crazy. First of all, the definition of communism is a moneyless, classless, stateless society. In true communism, there's not even a state to give your rights over to because there is no state. Okay, if you're talking more about like a Marxist-Leninist class war where the people rise up type of communism and take over from the rich people, then all
Yes,
the rights
that's what
then
there has been in the world.
they
That's it.
specifically go to fucking they go to the people. But on top of that, neither of those are a description of what China is or has ever been.
Oh no, that's not true at all. If you
It is
listen to the
incredibly true.
history
I do know my
and think of
history very well.
no. Just think about the Long March, the Cultural Revolution, Tiananmen Square. Think of how they treat their successful people even today. The kind of hampering on people being successful.
No, they
It's
don't. They have
not
tons of people that are successful.
truly.
There's a whole
And
bunch of
Xi
freaking people that
himself
are
is
super
bending
successful.
towards old
They just
style.
pay more taxes.
No, Maoism versus
Now we're talking about
Xi is leaning
Maoism.
towards Maoism.
Now we're talking about Maoism.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I'm talking about how things are actually practically implemented in the world.
No,
I mean,
you're
I know
talking
there's
about things
real
that
states
happen.
that
You're
are
talking about things
currently
that
in progress,
you are literally
not
giving a
past,
red
but
scare
progress.
version of communism. Okay. And that's why
No,
no one listens when people say communism anymore, right? Because it's literally just a red scare version of communism. This goes back to like the 50s and the 60s when the American government told everybody that communism is the most scary thing. Hell, Donald Trump just got on television and was talking about how communism is like the biggest threat to the United States, right? And he literally goes on there and just tells you that everything that you don't like is communist, right? Oh, if you don't like the way that they did things, it's communism. Oh, if they're repressive, it's communism. Oh, if you pay more taxes or have some form of socialism, you're a communist, right? If like no matter what it is, it's just communism, right? Like that's all you're doing. And all you're doing is naming a bunch of stuff that you don't like, right? And then saying that it's
no, that's
communism,
not it.
even though,
That's not it.
all right, you said
You're
it's
missing my
almost
point.
like a
You're clever,
totalitarianism.
but
It
you're
is
missing my
literally the
point.
definition of totalitarianism. That's what it is. That's why we have a name for it, and it's not communism.
Well, it gets implemented under the name of communism. And let me tell you, I'm not
And
basing
Nazism got
anything that I'm
implemented
telling
under
you from
Christianity and being the Workers' Party, even though they never implemented a singular policy that had anything to do with that, right? They literally were supposedly completely democratic. That's how they got into power, and that's how they implement it. But then that turned into fascism. Okay, just because a party says that this is what we're implementing it under, or use a word, doesn't mean that they actually ever implement any of the policies for that, right? And the Chinese government never implemented communist policies. They just called themselves communists. No way, no different from how Kim Jong Un calls North Korea the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, even though they're not democratic or for the people. You can name yourself
Well,
whatever you want. It doesn't mean that it fits the definition of what that thing is.
oh, exactly. I mean, I agree with that. But I think that what people don't realize is that everywhere communism tends to spread, it tends to follow the same pattern. For example, in New York, the idea of government, all housing being owned by the government, and reassignment of
That's not
residences.
communism. That'd be
No, but
socialism.
that's what Mondani is proposing.
That would be socialism.
Well, socialism tends to be predominantly how a lot of communist states execute. Think of the Soviet Union. Think of
Nope, they're different.
currently today under Putin. Think of East Germany. Think of And listen, my observations are coming firsthand from family that was in the party. I mean, I've been over to the
Sure,
East,
you having family in
and
a party
I
doesn't
have
mean
the
that you somehow
inside scoop
understand the
on it.
definitions of
I'm
words. You
telling
understand
you
that,
stuff
right?
you can't even get. I'm telling you info you can't even get because I'm
I
telling you
don't.
real life
Then fucking do
firsthand
it. I
info.
don't care. None of that changes that you don't have an understanding of what we're talking about, sir. You having family member that are in the Communist Party that's not communist doesn't make you an expert on communism.
I'm
You
it
understand that,
doesn't
right?
claim to be. I'm just telling you my first. Hey, I'm
Well,
just telling you my
you
firsthand
keep doing this
observations
like
for what it's
appeal
worth.
to authority, as if you having family that's in a party of a party that calls themselves communist, even though they don't
I'm just
implement any
telling you that's
communist
my
policy.
firsthand
You
experience.
keep saying that as like some type of way that like somehow makes you an expert on what you're talking about here. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just giving you where my point of view is coming from. Because a
Yeah,
lot of times you seem to imply that I'm getting this from media from the 50s,
no, but
60s,
I
and
actually
70s.
find
I
that
go,
people that
no,
actually come,
that's not
and
my
this is
source,
this
buddy.
is me
I'm too
personally, and this
objective.
is
I
just
get
from people
paid
that
to
have
be
come from places
objective.
like Cuba, who've come from places like Venezuela, who've come from places like China, right? What I have found, right, and this is what generally happens, is people that come from there or those places who have been oppressed by those governments come and talk about how communism is bad because they see what their party called it and they say, I don't like that. And that I can completely agree with, right? If you live in North Korea or, whatever, if you live in Cuba, for
Right.
example, and the entire government kept telling you they were the Communist Party, and then they repressed you, and then you come over and say, I don't like communism. There's no point in explaining that that's not what communism is, because it's not. That's what your representation of communism is in your mind, and what you're really saying is you don't like a totalitarian dictatorship. And I completely agree with you on that because I don't like those either. All right, but when we mix it up on purpose, or maybe on accident, even right, maybe if it's not even intentional, when we mix it up and then we start calling things by the wrong things, what it does is it gives capitalism power, right? It gives oligarchs power. It gives, your Jeff Bezos or your Elon Musk or any of these other people that are literally paying their way into politics, that are paying their way into influence in the United States. It gives them more power because anything that actually works for the people, they can just call communism, and then it's a completely shunned by society. So that's why I'm saying that it is important. What you're saying, the definitions, like the actual things that you're talking about, are bad. What my problem is when you associate those with communism, what you do is you take power away from the people when they're not communists. It's just people calling it communist.
Well, yeah, I see your point in that, and I think that's a valid point. I think the thing is though, every communist state, no matter where you're going to set up, is going to need to interact with the rest of the world, which is a money-based monetary system. And that's the problem, is because just as relatives of mine said in East Germany, we pretend to work, they pretend to pay us. The economies become run by bureaucratic people who don't have any practical experience. They just tend to be unable to create an environment that can achieve full-time employment, for example, for most people. So you have these people that have suffered in a situation where, capitalism was being shunned. And really, it takes innovative people to make progress. And if you're de-incented because regardless of how hard you work, you're going to get your stipend, you can see how that would demotivate a society. Yes, you're spreading
Sir, that
things
hasn't
around.
happened
I mean,
in
that
China. That
communism is
hasn't happened
actually a
in
very
Cuba.
Christian
Where
concept.
are you even talking about that this is happening?
You know,
Where are you even talking
this
about
is
that
the
this has happened?
reality of what happens. You
Where?
know, I'm talking about under the communist system of, for example, the Soviet Union, in East Germany, the way it was implemented there.
Only certain
Precisely.
parts of those country of the Soviet Union implemented anything close to that. And yes, that was very bad due to mismanagement, especially in like the Ukrainian regions, right? But those people were being severely oppressed. And again, they were under a totalitarian government. And the reason why that a lot of that stuff was happening is because a lot of the money that was coming from that labor, which should under communism go back to the people, actually end up being pushed up into freaking upper classes, right? Which is literally
Mhm.
why things like Marxism like exists about to fight against that class struggle, right?
Yeah,
But again,
even
that
though
was a
they create a class,
mismanagement of
they
communism.
create
That
their own
wasn't
class,
communists'
the
fault. That's
leadership
just
class.
greedy people being greedy.
And I think the fundamental reason why that happens is that you don't have a system of checks and balances. Communism presumes that everybody that's going to be doing something in this very shared, and it sounds very Christian, right? The Sermon on the Mount, state where we're all going to coexist in this beautiful brotherly love, isn't a reality. Sociopaths tend to like to take advantage of those people that are, going along with that flow.
So what you're
That
saying is we should
beautiful
just put the
state of being.
sociopaths in charge.
That's usually what happens. They
No, that's
rise
what you're
to the
saying we should
pinnacle,
do. That's
even
what you're
though
saying. If you're advocating for capitalism, that's
I'm
what you're
not
saying.
saying we
You're
should
saying
do that.
instead
I'm
of
saying,
sociopaths coming up and taking power, we should just put the sociopaths in power to begin with, and then we don't have to worry about that.
well, no, that's not what I was saying. I was saying if you
That's what
create
you're
that
saying.
state,
That's what you're
those
saying.
personality types. Well, read the book Snakes and Suits. It talks about how sociopaths tend to rise to the top of all pyramid structures.
Oh, so
You gotta have
sociopaths
checks and
rise to the top
balances.
of all structures, yet somehow I should be worried about communism because
Tend to.
sociopaths rise to the top?
Well, the idea is that even though ideal communism, there wouldn't be a top, right? We wouldn't have a pyramid structure.
What are we even
It tends
talking
to
about
fall
right
into
now?
that. Well, what I'm trying to say is that the implementations of communism hasn't yet had its checks and balances. They don't have
Yeah, I
the
don't care
same
about any of this. This
mistrust
conversation is not going
as
anywhere.
of
What are we
government,
talking about?
as the structure of government, life under totalitarianism, communism. And we started
Bro,
out
you
talking
can't
about
show me
Iran.
life under communism. It doesn't exist, okay? Unless you go back to like indigenous tribes or like freaking Scandinavian, like
Well, I'm just
Vikings
saying,
or something like that, real implementation of communism doesn't really exist. And the places where it has existed, like in indigenous tribes and stuff like that, or with indigenous people, those are the only time it's worked, and they worked out just fine until a bunch of capitalists came in and tried to destroy it, through everything from slave trade to all sorts of other stuff. Okay, so in the times that it has been shown to work, it does work just fine. It's just that the problem is that people in society tend to gravitate towards people to these sociopaths for some reason. But I again don't know what we're talking about anymore, and I completely think we've lost the entire plot of this
Okay.
entire thing. Okay, because we were talking about Iran and how Iran is still fucked just as much as it was before, right? Donald Trump has done nothing for this, and now you've worked like super far into this socialism, communism thing, and it's really just kind of not really talking about anything anymore. So,
All right. Well, hey,
all
I
right,
enjoyed the trip, and we'll, thanks.
all right,
Talk to you
bye
later.
bye. I don't know. Anyways, yeah. First of all, hit that follow button and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you guys like to support the live, I do have super chats, pay links in the bio. I don't know how I suffered through that without a single super chat to even put up on the screen to give myself a break afterwards. But if you'd like to help me hit my live goal, I'm like $78 left, and I would really appreciate any support. Also, I've been on for almost 2 hours and haven't cleared the hat and mustaches yet. So, yeah, if you guys like support, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
I'm 27 years old.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
I do, Jen. I wouldn't consider myself like a full blown. He can't do no wrong, but yeah, I generally support him.
All right. Why is that?
Um, I feel like multiple different reasons. One big reason would be that he is standing up for like Western civilization. I don't know, that's a broad term, very controversial, very loaded, but I think that the way a lot of people in this country would have us go would be to turn this country into like some communist. I was just listening to the conversation you were just having about communism and whatever. Like this country was never meant to be that, and I feel like they're trying to a group of bad actors is trying to push this country in that direction. And we could talk about why I think communism doesn't work, socialism, and all these things. And I feel like Trump is going the other way, so he got my vote.
Yeah, no, I'd rather not talk to another person that doesn't understand communism or socialism to have another conversation with them about it. So no, I'm good. But
All right.
who's trying to push this? Who's the bad actor trying to push us towards communism?
I will say like the Nancy Pelosi's of the world, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar.
Yeah, the Nancy Pelosi's, the literal person that's married to an investment banker. Yeah. So can you please name one communist policy that she's tried to push us towards?
Communist policy. I couldn't. I really couldn't. I just, you probably know more about politics than me. You probably definitely do, actually. I'm just looking at it generally speaking. I think that because I've studied like political theory and like history, I don't know too much about present day, but I know that in communist societies, the people at the top hold an incredible amount of power and wealth, right?
No.
So that's
what is
not
the
really
definition of communism? What is the definition of communism?
The definition I would say of communism is a society in which the people own the means of production, essentially. But
Wrong. I don't know I don't know where you heard that. Okay, but you're mixing up a whole bunch of things here. But even if that was the case, even if it was what your definition was, how does that mean that a bunch of people at the top hold all the power?
Because I feel like it's a zero-sum game. Like capitalism works because it incentivizes people to work hard. And if you have one business that's booming, you can create a product that can challenge that business and overtake it. But when the government controls the means of production, it disincentivizes people to do that.
You didn't say the government owns the means of production, sir. The definition of communism is a moneyless, classless, stateless society. Okay, like where everything is.
Sounds like
equal. Okay.
A nightmare.
Moneyless, classless, stateless. What your definition was close to was socialism, which is where the people own the means of production. Okay, the people own the means of production.
Why would you think that a classless, moneyless? What was the third thing you said? A classless, moneyless society would be functional in any way, shape, or form.
I didn't say it was. You said there's bad actors trying to push us towards it. I never made a single comment saying it was good, bad, or indifferent.
Okay. Okay. So let me ask you this. In the previous conversation, you said that indigenous tribes were basically the only people that came close to actually implementing real communism. So what would you call? Why are you not
going to answer my question? What bad actor is pushing us towards either of the things I just talked about?
I mean, well, Bernie Sanders was one of them. I feel like all these, like he's openly said it. He's been sympathetic towards kind of Hassan
He's a democratic
Piker.
socialist, and democratic socialists in the United States aren't even true democratic socialists. They're technically social democrats. If you want to go on the strict definition.
Well, okay, so what about the Hassan Piker guy? He's literally.
What political party? What political office does Hassan Piker hold?
He doesn't. But he's one of the bad actors that I'm referring to. He holds a large, portion. He has a lot of influence. Does he not? I mean, like he's influencing future voters that could potentially change the direction of this country.
So what?
I'm not a big fan of Nick Fuentes at all. I actually despise him.
So is Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro, who go out saying all sorts of shit. So is Candace Owens, who just goes on spouting conspiracy theories. Just because somebody has a YouTube channel doesn't mean that they're freaking bad actors that are trying to change the country. I'm talking about people actually in our government, right? People that actually have true power in our government. Who's trying to turn this towards this? Bernie Sanders just wants you to have fucking healthcare and affordable housing. Like, I don't.
Okay. So what do you think communism can work, generally speaking?
Sir, who are the bad actors that are in our government that are trying to move us away from this that Trump is fighting against?
Well, if you were going by your strict definition, nobody. But I don't adhere by that definition, like the stateless, moneyless society. I think that totalitarianism and authoritarianism and state level control, these are all aspects of like a communist society. And like the Rashida Tlaibs, Ilhan Omars of the world, like the Biden administration, they were leading heavily towards that. Like they banned so many people for talking about the COVID vaccine or whatever that were
They
later
banned
proven
people
right.
from what?
Speaking the truth. They were talking about like
Where
how
did they ban them
there's
from?
a
From the
lot of
country? Did they send them into exile?
no, they didn't send them into exile, but they were trying to suppress that speech. They was calling it dangerous misinformation. They were
Oh,
accounts
yeah.
were getting shut down.
How dare the government stop people from spreading bad information that could get people killed from spreading? Oh, horrible. Oh, that's so horrible. Yes, people were actually dying. Yes. I do know that.
You could actually get more sick
people were
wearing a face
actually
mask than
fucking
COVID.
injecting fucking disinfectant and dying.
En masse? You have to be pretty crazy to do that.
It wasn't en masse, sir, because they stopped it from spreading.
Okay, that has to be like the most dumbest group of people, like like the more reasonable people that we just
There's a lot of dumb fucking people in the United States. That's why we have to have warning labels on bleach that say don't fucking drink. There's a lot of people in the United States that are morons, okay? And so when there's a lot of people that are morons in the United States, and then you have to be able to stop those morons from doing moron shit. And that's what the Biden administration was trying to do. They were trying to stop morons from doing moron shit. Okay? And you're complaining about that. See, the people that weren't going to drink bleach, okay, aren't affected by Joe Biden stopping people from saying don't drink bleach. Okay? They weren't affected by it. There's zero negative consequences. Okay? Zero negative consequences from the whole thing. All right? It was only the people that were positively affected by the fact that they weren't doing it.
I think that like if you look at if you are crazy enough to drink bleach, like I feel like your problems go a lot deeper than politics. It's kind of like how when Congress was trying to blame school shootings on video games, I'm like, listen, if you're crazy enough to shoot up a school, I'm pretty sure your problems go a lot deeper than video games. Like that's like a non-segue. Like that's
and when your president is on TV telling people to inject disinfectant, then I think his problems probably go a lot deeper than that too, don't you think?
Yeah, that's fair enough. But don't you think that a lot of the people that were talking about COVID ended up being right? That there was a lot of evidence pointing that to the fact that it was created from a lab in Wuhan. That there's a highly big chance that China
what does that have to do with anything?
Virus go on purpose?
All they told you was to freaking get your vaccine so it didn't spread as much, wear a mask, and stay 6 feet apart. What does it matter where it came from?
Sir.
It all worked, actually. Very specifically, it worked.
Because there's zero scientific evidence, strong evidence, to show it. I've actually seen studies, and I could.
Sir, I'm not getting into your COVID conspiracy theories. I'm not listening to this.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, freedom of speech, sir.
Your freedom of speech goes from the government, not from me. And I'm not listening to your fucking conspiracy theories. The First Amendment protects the government from shutting you up. It doesn't protect you from me, okay?
Yeah, that's fair, but it's just that, like, I feel like whenever I try to present, like an alternative point of view, it's always shot down as like a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, you mean a conspiracy
theory. For the record, I don't even like Candace and Tucker because I think they delve too deep into the conspiracy theories, right? But I'm just saying that a lot of, like, chemtrails, for example, like, a lot of the stuff that Alex Jones was spewing, it did end up being true, sir. Not all the crazy defense stuff.
You think chemtrails exist, sir?
I'm not naive. You don't think that the government wants population
you're just
control?
dumb. What the fuck? Is this a joke?
I don't think
you're
it is.
You're the reason why we have to have that label on the bleach bottle. You're the reason why we have to have that label on the bleach bottle. Like you're it. You're the one.
I am actually not. I actually dislike,
He's
the head,
like, I only drank bleach 3 times before I realized that I shouldn't be doing it. I don't need the label. Okay. I don't need it. Like that's those guys. All right. There was only 3 times Friday. Sir, is the earth flat or is the earth round?
obviously it's round.
I don't know. You could have convinced me that you were going to say the other way. Did we land on the moon?
It's just, I just feel like,
did we land on the moon?
absolutely we did. Absolutely we did. I'm not an
okay.
anti-science person, and the reason why I'm actually saying
Sir,
what I
if
say
the
is
second
because
you're quoting Alex Jones means that you are
no.
As soon as you're like, Alex Jones had some really good. Alex Jones and the My Pillow guy, they got some really good points, and that's what I
hold
on.
My point is that the chemtrails thing, the Epstein Island thing, it did get vindicated many years later that he was talking about way earlier. Now all the stuff about aliens and like these deep end conspiracies, it's all BS. I'm not anti-science. I'm agnostic actually. Like I left religion because I just thought science proved it was dumb. Like, but my whole point of saying that like the COVID thing, like there wasn't good science to show that being 6 feet away from each other and wearing a mask.
It was just the science that they had at the time. Okay. Sometimes in science, and I think this is where people get confused about science. Okay. We have things like the scientific method. Okay. Really important stuff. Okay. It doesn't mean that science is right all the time. It means that we're operating off the best information that we have at the moment. That's all. That's all that means, is that we're operating off the best information that we have at the moment. Does that mean that they get everything right? No, absolutely not. It doesn't mean that they get everything right. It's not conspiracy theory. Okay. I don't think it's fucking this crazy thing to go, oh, if I'm contagious, then the further someone away from me is, the less likely they are to catch it. Right? That's all that was saying. If I'm contagious, okay? If I'm contagious and I'm further away from somebody, all right, then they're less likely to catch it. That's all. All right? That's not some conspiracy theory. That's not some crazy that's not some crazy anything. That's all, okay? But I'm done talking about this, all right? I'm done talking about your crazy conspiracy theories because this is a waste of time. Oh, if we put something that helps block germs, then it's less likely for those germs to spread. These aren't insane thoughts. So. These are not insane thoughts. Okay?
Do you think a particle?
I said I'm done fucking talking to you about it. Do you not understand consent? Bring up one more stupid fucking conspiracy theory and I'm dropping you.
Thank you.
Like, holy shit, dude. We didn't know everything about the fucking virus. We didn't know everything. Okay? We didn't know everything. What's crazy too is like what amazes me, which is just crazy. Y'all, make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you guys would like to support the live, I do have super chats. I have pay links in the bio. They're all at Polypolitics, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. So if you'd like to tip or help support, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. It's just crazy how uncultured Americans are. Right? Because if you go to like Japan, every time someone's sick, they wear a mask. That's been happening like forever. You go to Korea, when people are sick, people just like they wear masks all around. It's crazy how every other country figured this out well before COVID. But now all of a sudden with COVID, it doesn't fucking work. Surgeons wear masks so when they do surgery, they don't infect the fucking open wound. But all of a sudden they're like, they don't work. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Of course they work. What are you, stupid? Of course they work. Of course they work. Stop being dumb. It's not even that serious. It wasn't even that big of a deal. The hardest part, okay, was that during COVID for a point, a lot of it, I was single, and it was really hard to date or like talk to anybody wearing masks. That was the hardest part. Cause you go talk to somebody and like you be like, oh yeah, she's like real cute. She takes off the mask. You're like, oh hell nah. Anyways, you could hide a lot. Yeah, I don't see any of your fucking little Proud Boys or your little fucking racists at the Capitol having a hard time breathing with masks on. Scott, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Says Trump only stands for Trump. He barely even stands anymore. To be honest with you, he barely even stands. He's kind of holding himself up over there. And Moreno, thank you so much for the 5. Said motherfucker worships a PDF file felon trader, but scared of receiving health care. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh no, not free healthcare. Guys, Bernie's trying to give us free healthcare. AOC, what Mom Donnie wants to make sure people can live. Fucking crazy, man. Absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. Thank you so much, Moreno. And Tara, thank you so much for the 30 over on Venmo. I really appreciate that. Said a little something to help you keep everything going. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Tara. It really, really does mean a lot. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Huge W's in the chat for all the gifters, especially Tara there with the 30. And Shay there with the Galaxy, clearing that off the gift gallery too. So I really, really appreciate everybody. Now I got to do math. But thank you so much, Tara. I really appreciate it. W's in the chat for Tara. Just keeping the ship moving. That's all we're doing. We're just keeping the ship going. All right? That's all we got to do. We have to keep the ship moving. Yeah, like that stuff. I don't know if it's actually true or not, but I heard that we're the only country at the World Cup without universal health care. It's what I heard. It's what I heard. Bro, you know what countries are at the World Cup? You know how fucking embarrassing that is? You know what countries are at the World Cup? Like there's some like scrub ass countries. How the fuck are bro, fucking we can't beat out Algeria on our healthcare? Give me a break, bro. We can't do better than Uruguay? Nothing against Uruguay. Just saying. Feel like we should be able to do better than them. If you're Uruguayan, you're Uruguayan, I don't know. If you're from there, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. Hello, how are you?
What's going on, man?
Hi, how old are you?
All right by yourself? 30.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
No, not everything. Just support something.
All right, what do you support?
I support not having open borders and not letting children be transgenders, of course. Just a basic common sense thing.
Yeah, it is basic common sense. It's so common sense that nobody's had an open border. Isn't that crazy?
Well, it usually ends badly. I mean, we can't even take care of the brown and black people we got now.
No, I mean, we've never had an open border. This country has never had an open border. That's what I'm saying.
I know it has, but look how it's going on. That's for the black and brown people we got now. Like I said, you would know that if you weren't whitewashed. You clearly grew around white people.
I grew up around a lot of everybody.
Yeah, I got a real question though for you before we get into a good debate. You talked a lot about Trump, right? And you said bad things about him, right? So tell us who you support.
I said no.
You don't make the rules, faggot.
Do you not understand consent?
That's the problem with you.
I
You
said
let the show
no.
give you an ego.
I said no.
So just
You
answer
still
the
there?
question. Who do you support? Who's a good option for you?
Sir, no.
You know what?
I said I'm not
You're
answering
ashamed to
your
answer the
question.
Why not? Don't you care about the American people? Don't
Do you think
want them
me
to be
answering
fucking
your
led in the
question
right
is deciding on whether or not I were like freaking like the American people?
No, if you're just not biased and you just answer objectively, then yeah, you would realize.
No, I'm
it's a
not
good
answering
question.
at all because I said no. Do you not understand consent?
That's the second time you said that, and you sound gay as fuck. You sound like a woman. Do you not understand consent? Nobody's
Why, you
asking you for a
interested?
sexual favor, faggot. So
Slurs, that's cute.
You're so gay.
Yeah. Do you kiss your sister with that
Just
mouth?
answer the question. You care about the American
Do you
people?
kiss your sister with that
Do you
mouth?
believe?
Huh? Like in the mouth with tongue?
Answer the question.
You answer the question.
I will answer your question soon.
No, you'll answer my question first. How long
You
have
don't
you
make
been
the rules.
fucking
That's
your
what I'm trying to tell you.
sister?
Your YouTube channel gave you an.
All right, there you go. Anyways, I just wanted him to admit that he fucks his sister. That was all. I didn't want anything crazy. All right. I just wanted him to tell me why he keeps mouth kissing his sister. That's all. I don't think that's an unreasonable request. And is his sister hot? All right. Do you enjoy tongue kissing your sister? And is she hot? That's all. I thought that was a fair request. Think anything wild. He never looks at her face. Oh, he does. It's full eye contact. I promise you it is. She has a great personality. Yo, Wild. I believe it was, who was it? I don't want to mess up the name. Sean, thank you so much for the fireworks show. W's in the chat for Sean for that fireworks show. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. She has to use a paper towel bag over his head. Is he a double brown bagger? Ugh. Is he a double brown bagger? You gotta put one over their head. Then you gotta put one over your head in case the one on their head falls off. Oh God. Anyways. Y'all, it's been a slow night. I'm gonna jump off for the night. I actually have some other stuff I need to get done. Go after this. I have a video I posted out this morning on YouTube and a video that I posted out on TikTok this morning and another short I'm gonna post on YouTube probably tonight. So go check out my content. Please, please, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Love you, love you, love you. And I hope you guys have a wonderful night. All right. See you guys later.